welcome back to another episode of Why I Love BNI, your podcast spotlighting different business owners on their business journey and then their BNI journey. So today, I'm super excited to have my guest Wynn with us today. And thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Macy. Excited to be here.
Of course. Well, Wynn and I met at the BNI conference last month, I think it was. And then we had a great one-to-one where she was just telling me all the amazing stuff that she does for her clients. Like she really is a jack of all trades, but she is a master of all of them. So I think that's super exciting. So I'll let her take it away. Wynn, why don't you share just a little bit about what you do and how you help people?
Sure. So my name is Wynn Newingham. I'm the owner of Tustle Marketing. I started my business about 5 years ago, and basically I took all the things that I worked in my previous life, being a corporate junkie, and brought it to small business owners. Whether, you know, small business owners need the same things that large companies needs as well when it comes to marketing. And so being in the type of roles that I've been in, I've had to learn a lot of different things. So now I get to bring those to my clients, and I don't know. I love it, obviously, because I'm still
Yeah.
here 5 years later.
5 years is incredible.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
definitely an amazing amount of time, especially because you had to go through, and it's a little bit different, obviously, if you didn't have a brick and mortar and what kind of business you're in. But COVID was different for everyone,
sure.
for sure. But it's not. It goes without saying that it was hard, regardless. It might have been harder for some, but in general, it was a tough time to do
Yeah.
anything. So huge congrats to you for making it out of there. That's awesome. You mentioned a little bit on taking some of the things that you learned in corporate America and applying it to some of the small businesses you work with now. I know a really big part when sometimes you talk to small businesses is they think their problem maybe is like the most unique to them. And you're like,
Mm.
actually, no, this might be a completely different thing and industry and everything, but I think what I learned here applies to what you're doing. So what are some of the things that you've kind of maybe surprised some of your clients with? Like, hey, actually, encountered this in corporate America, and here's how
Yeah.
it can help you.
Yeah, a lot of it is always just getting to the root of the cause, right? So there's always a problem, right? So as a business owner, we exist for two reasons. We like to make money, but we're here to solve problems. So while a problem might be unique, how to get there there might be some steps on how to resolve it. So, whether you have, currently $0 to your marketing budget or you have thousands of dollars to your marketing budget, the great thing about marketing is like it's not like a silver bullet. Like if you do these three things, therefore you equate to this whatever you're trying to achieve. Because if that was the case, then I would not exist. So a lot of it is just getting to the core of, your situation might be unique, but the steps to get there, and again, get into the root cause. What are you trying to achieve? What are we working with? What is your capacity? Do you need to bring someone on, like our team, to come and assist in that area? Because not everything needs someone in marketing. Some of the things can be done by a business owner or by their team. But coming up with a plan of how to get to point A to point B, or sometimes it's like how to get to point A to point Z, like it might take steps to get there. A lot of times too, I refer to ourselves as like almost like a personal trainer. It's an accountability
Oh,
part, right?
yeah.
No one likes to work out, right? Like it's hard, but it's necessary. Same thing like marketing, it's hard, but it's necessary. And so we have different tools and steps to get you there. Again, whether it's you implementing it yourself or it's our team coming alongside you and supporting you. So the
hmm
problem might be unique, but the ways to get there to resolve it or even open some new opportunities. Again, that's why I like marketing, because it's all unique. So the problem might be unique, but the steps to get there, like it's going to be a very comprehensive plan that aligns with what is going on in your world, your budget, your team, and your industry, and all of those things.
That's awesome. And I wanted to ask really quick as well. I mean, there's a huge reason why someone would go out and hire you. And I think the biggest reason is just like business owners are busy enough as it is. They don't need to take on, a
Mhm.
second job, which
Sure.
doing your marketing
Yes.
is literally like a second job for those business owners. But maybe, as they're going into the new year and they're like, all right, well, I'm gonna adjust my budget so I can, hire someone like Wynn to help me out. But until then, what is like a small tip that you'd recommend for business owners to at least start with something when it comes to social media, or maybe even just kind of refining their own marketing message?
Yeah, I'm all about like easy and simple. And again, I don't
hmm
feel like the three steps get you to X, Y, Y. There is no plan, right? We all like numbers. We want to know the three steps, and therefore, again, we will arrive to this destination. in life, in marketing, you don't arrive to a destination, you move on to the next thing that has, the
Mm,
next path to go. So a lot of times I tell business owners, like, start with one thing. Again, just because you can do everything doesn't mean you need to do it.
sure.
Just because, again, are there Google ads and social media ads? I should be on social media. I should do events. I should print publications. I should update my website. I should, like, yes, you can do those things. But it all goes back to, should you? Going back to what I said earlier, do you have the capacity? Do you have the team? Do you have the support? Are you, I have clients that say, like, oh, I want to be on TikTok so bad. I'm like, great. Like, are you ready to be on video? They're like, oh, no. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I don't think you're, it's something as simple as being on TikTok. So again, getting back to that root cause. Okay, you want to be on TikTok. It's a honorable, desirable thing to be on, especially as a business owner, but you're not ready to be on a video. Okay, what are those things that we can do to get you ready for video? So again, it's all going back to, again, the root cause, making it, like, again, stupid simple of, oh, I need to just start getting comfortable. Maybe I need to make a 5 to 10 second video, which sounds like, oh my gosh, that's so, like, I can't do it, but you got to start somewhere. It's like riding a bike. So again, I usually say just start with one thing. Again, don't I want to be, I want to have a huge following on TikTok. Yes, that's great. But, like, let's just get you making a 5 second video to get started before you just, like, you have, want this big thing. So I
Yeah.
think making more actionable, tangible goals that can be digestible is, again, whatever that may be, because we work with so many different clients who have so many different needs. And my seat in BNI is marketing consultant. So it's all about figuring out what's the best step for you to take. Again, because there's so many steps. Again, I love it. Makes my ADD, like, run wild and just be so happy about that. But also I know, like, that can be so overwhelming for a business owner to know, like, is it Google ads, social media, website? Should I be doing events? Should I do print publication? Excuse me, print publication. So help them bring some clarity. And again, I usually say start with one thing that you can commit to, because it's usually, again, whether they're working with us or not, there's going to have to be something that, like, the business owner or the manager that's going to be involved in that, which, again, not everybody likes to not like to hear, but that's the reality of it. I can't be.
Definitely. No, I'm so glad that you touched on that too, because I know I'm sure you've had literally the exact same conversations I've had with clients where, they go from having, maybe one post ever on their Instagram and one
Yep.
post ever on their Facebook account. And I'm like, great, what do you want to do? And they're like, oh, well, I want to post on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Alignable, like everything. And I'm like, wait a minute, let's slow down. Like, what do you even want to post about? Like, that's, I
Mhm.
think, the big thing. Like, well, I have this product and this product and that product. I'm like, great, but you're going to confuse people really quickly. So why don't we
Yep.
just take a step back and see what makes sense, and what people are going to gravitate towards, and then we can see how that works, cross-platform, and how we can start building those out. But if you build out, 9 platforms at once, the chances of any of them growing to the level you want are not going to be that high instead of maybe 1 or 2 platforms. So
Yep.
it's all the little things. So that's why you have someone like Wynn in your corner to help you figure out what makes sense for your clients and your target market.
For sure.
So just changing gears just a little bit, what brought you to BNI? Who invited you to BNI the first time?
Yep. So it was during the pandemic. So it was like 2021. So, I would say we're not even coming out of it. We're still living it. And I had recently had started my business. Actually, maybe it was 2020. I think I was like 6 months into my business. So
Mm.
numbers are not my thing. That's why I'm in that's why I'm in marketing. So 2020, about 6 months into my business, and actually her name is Irene DeJesus. She's no longer in BNI anymore, but she invited me, and I remember my first meeting being like, "What is going on? Like, these people are on it." I was initially in the New Smyrna Beach chapter, so referral source, and it was just a really special moment during that time. I'm no longer in that chapter. I did take a break, just due to some scheduling conflicts. I was about BNI for a year and a half, took a little bit of a break because I had a new kind of gig that I was working on in the mornings that conflicted. And then soon as that, job wrapped up, I'm like, I'm getting back in BNI. Like, it was a no-brainer. So very impressed by the first time. Again, just people being on it, people who care about their business, care about one another. It's very, it was a very authentic experience. And again, to me, it's like like, it was just a no-brainer. Like, I went to one meeting and I applied. Again, I took a little bit of a break, stopped that job. immediately went back to BNI and, put in my application. So for any business owner listening that's not in BNI, I would absolutely like take advantage of the BNI chapters in your area, because if you own a business, like there's something so invaluable that comes to the plate when you're surrounded by so many business owners, like whatever it may be, someone or can look in the directory and be like, listen, I'm another BNIer and I need your help right now. And then also too, like it's kind of like, what is it, Angie's List? Like, and I don't even know if that's real. Like, it's legit, like they've been vetted. Like these individuals have been vetted. So you always know what you're going to get. And again, they're in such a wild world on the internet, or even like, fake reviews or all the craziness, like just to
Sure.
go figure out, is this a legit business? To know that BNI kind of like stamps that approval is like God send chef's kiss for sure. For sure.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think it's really great. Like, you and I are in different chapters, but we're still able to
Yep.
connect and we're still able to learn about each other's business and learn how we can refer each other. Like, there are so many referrals I've passed to people outside of my chapter. And
Yep.
I've been able to connect other chapter members with my chapter members and stuff like that. And so I think an underrated part, a part of BNI is that it's not just your chapter, it's your entire area, it's your entire region, it's, the entire nation too. You have access to all of these people, part of BNI, and like you said, they're all vetted. They all went through the process, and all of them have that, hungry and helpful mindset when it comes to helping other people's business. It sounds like you've been in BNI for quite some time now, even with the break included. So what kind of tips do you have for kind of some of the newer BNI members? Either something you learned or some advice you got as well.
Yeah, I would just say just jump in. So my role right now is mentor coordinator, right? And so it is like drinking from a fire hose when there's these different acronyms. There's the power of one report, and you're like, what am I? There's an app. I'm supposed to be doing things. And so like I'm one of those, like I just kind of jump right in, right? So it's not about getting it right. It's just trying to like figure it out. And again, the great thing about the individuals that are in BNI, there's always someone to help you. So like never ask. So even being a mentor coordinator, I'll say like you can talk to literally anyone in the chapter and they would tell you the exact same things I'm telling you right now. So it's not like there's this gatekeeper of information. You
Right.
have to talk to that individual. Especially members who have been in like a year, anyone's a really great resource to talk to. So my advice would be just like jump right in, and then it might not be perfect and someone might not be right, but you have such a supportive team. And also too, like there's everyone in BNI, again, it's just there's so much grace in it, and that also too, there's really not a lot you can mess up. But
Mm-hmm.
like what is a one-to-one? Or again, some of the acronyms that we have, it's like, as an outsider looking, you're like, oh yeah, that might be a little confusing, but right, it's just like anything, you pick it up very fast and can
Exactly.
jump right in and fit right in and get going. So
Yeah.
especially as mentor coordinator, we've had 3 new members join, and they're like already in the green in such a short
Amazing.
period of time. And I'm like, I love this. Like I love this so much. So again, people figure it out all the time. Yes, it might be a little overwhelming at first, and you're like, wait, what? And like we're a hybrid chapter, so like what meeting are we in person and online? Like again, you figure it out. Just like
Definitely.
the hundreds of thousands of other people have done the same thing. So
Definitely. And I think, my chapter was so helpful when I was getting started. I remember like the one acronym I had the worst problem with was thank you for closed business, because I was
yeah,
like, I don't understand how this works. How do I log it? What is it
yeah,
logged? What am I logging? How does
yeah.
it contribute and stuff? Another thing that I learned is, I don't know if you guys have this in your chapter, but in our chapter we have most thanked. And I was
Nice.
like, what the hell does that mean? I was so confused. I was looking through the app. I'm like, how do you give thanks to someone? And then I realized it's like how many thank you for closed businesses you got that week. And it's
Mhm.
not the number, it's just how many
Yep,
times you
that's
were
nice.
thanked instead of like the overall, because we have some really heavy
Oh,
hitters
sure.
in the chapter who are
Yep.
like,
Anything
30,000
with
a
real
week.
estate, yes, they're gonna like
Yes.
pull the
Real
chapter. Yeah.
estate, and I think our biggest one is probably the car guy,
Okay.
because he's just doing some great stuff over there. So
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't know personally, 'cause don't have the experience with that, but there's like so many different things that you'll learn and you'll pick up. And, I know there was a member next to me, like I always sat next to her and I was like, what does this one mean? What does that mean? Do I stand up
Mhm.
now? Do I not stand up now?
Oh yeah.
She was so
Yeah.
helpful, especially in those first few weeks, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. So your members are there for you. They want to see you
Yep.
succeed because
Yep.
when you succeed, they succeed, and the whole
Yep.
chapter succeeds. So when I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, spending a
Mhm.
few minutes with me. You just gave so many great pieces of advice, and I know a lot of people out there who think a little bit about marketing, know how overwhelming it can be. Hopefully, this is the step in the right direction for them to learn a little bit. So I'll make sure I have all of Wynn's information in the description. People can click, copy and paste, whatever makes it just a little bit easier. Reach out to Wynn, ask if you have any questions. So again, thank you so much for your time
Thank
today.
you,
I really
Macy.
appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Of course, and to everyone watching, I really appreciate you as well, and I'll see you next time. Bye.